Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Friday finish line, and this is a little bit of a later episode for us today, but we're closing out Friday, and the finish line is always about making about a really great finish to the week. And today I want to talk about your busyness, not your business, although a lot of times those kind of become the same thing, but your busyness. And this is probably one of the biggest challenges that I think we face in the modern world. With a life like this. Like, think about it. You know, we have all of these amazing push button conveniences, all of these things that we could do that we could never do before, and all these things that are supposed to make our lives easier. And then what do? Well, we heap more and more and more on top of that, and before you know it, we've become so busy with everything that we're doing that we lose sight, of what it is to be a human being. We lose sight of that highest path and purpose for ourselves. We get caught down in the weeds and all these other things. We get caught in our busyness. And then what happens when we get caught in our busyness? Well, then we start to get into overwhelm. The voices in the head start to jack up when we start to really think you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be doing the other thing. And like, wow, before you know it, it's really noisy up there. And meditation will help you to a degree. But at the end of the day, if you don't resolve the energy behind that, the energy of this busyness, this chaos, this overwhelm, those voices will continue to jack up. They continue to have a place to voice, right? And then all of a sudden in your head, it's just like really, really, really loud. And I think one of the reasons that this becomes such a big issue in our modern world, not only is, just the massive amount of information that we have access to, the much, much, much faster pace of life, but also this idea that we're supposed to do things a certain way, that we should do it the way that everybody else is doing it, or there's like a success formula, or there's a certain way, or there's like somehow out there there's this magic formula to life that if we just follow this specific formula, that all of a sudden everything would be okay. And that just, what does that do? Well, that adds one more thing and another thing and another thing onto the list. So we get busy in our lives, really busy, doing this and that and the other thing, wearing a ton of different hats. And then we become depleted through that process. And then as we become depleted, we think, well, rightfully so. Well, geez, like maybe I should really start thinking about taking care of myself, really keeping everything going. Okay, well, great, that's awesome. And then we get involved with all these different kinds of like self-care things. Well, you should do this and you should do that, and you should be journaling. You should be meditating. You should be doing a gratitude exercise. You should be doing your affirmations. You should be doing your law of attraction. You should be doing this and that and the other thing and all these other things. And it becomes another layer of busyness. So now we're not just busy in life and busy with everything else. We become busy again now with self-care, with self-development, with all these other things. And the reason that this becomes such a big problem, and the remedy for it, is simplification, is to really simplify our lives and to simplify these processes into things that are much more efficient and effective at what you really want to accomplish. And I think it was in the last video we talked about one of the healing myths is, you're not here to heal necessarily. You're here, you have a mission in this world, you have a higher calling, a path and purpose. You know what that is. And if you don't know, then you have an idea that there is something there that you're seeking. And that's great, so that can give you something to do. But then we get caught up in all the other shoulds and all the other things that, maybe society or our parents or whoever has told us, you're supposed to be this, you're supposed to do it that way. And we don't get a chance to be really true to ourselves. And then the busyness builds up, trying to fill all these different things. So what is needed is to simplify that, to really be clear and concise in what you're here to do, and to take tangible actions toward that. Is self-development an important part of that? Absolutely. It's pivotal. Developing yourself, not only your character, but your energetic containers. Really, if you want to go to the heart of it, it's the energetic containers that need to be developed. and expanded in order to be able to sustain those bigger missions. If you want to help more people, let's just put it really simply. If you want to help more people, maybe you've, had some challenges yourself, some health challenges or whatever that is. You want to heal, you want to coach, you want to do whatever that is. You want to be more of service in the world. Awesome. That is so cool. And you probably recognize right away that if you don't take care of yourself, you don't have what you need in order to sustain that. It's a correct assessment. And if you want to help more people, you need a bigger container. You need better access to those resources so that you can be more available to that. This is one of the most common things I see with healers, is that they hit a ceiling with how many people that they can work with at a time, how many people they can see in a week, because their energy is taking the hit. That's because what they're doing is upside down. They're not honoring the true energetics of healing and the true energetics of that process, and so they're taking the hit. It's actually a really, really easy fix. It's not that complicated. So at the end of the day, then simplifying and then really working to develop ourselves. So when you talk about self-development, okay, great. So you need to work on your energetics so that you have the containers to be able to sustain that. And you need to work on your mind and the emotional context, right? Those things that come up, all of those old programs that start to come up that say you couldn't, you shouldn't, you can't do that. No, that's ridiculous. There's a train of truth coming by right now to amplify that. But all those other things that come up that keep us limited and small and playing a smaller game and playing into an older version of ourselves, that's just not relevant to where you're going. So these two hand in hand, working with the energetics and then working with the mind, that's true self-development, and being able to do that in a really efficient way. That's what energy mastery is all about, is being able to handle both of those things in a deep way, not just a surface way. Because those are some of the quick methods. They just deal with the surface level. And that's okay for the moment, but it's not really going to get you where you want to go. It's just kind of a quick fix, right? But when you can really get to the depth and you can do that efficiently, then you can really begin to expand yourself and your potential in ways that really weren't available to you before. That's what energy mastery is. It's a system to do that for you and to do it much more efficiently. Because that's absolutely necessary to get out of that busyness, to clear all of the clutter. Think about in your energetics, like you're walking around in the world in your little bubble, and all of these different things start to come into your energetics. And then it's this person's idea about that, and you should be doing it this way. That's their voice. Okay, all of a sudden you've got that voice in the head, and that's kind of nagging. Maybe it's pretty quiet, but it's still kind of in the background, right? And then you've got this voice over here, and this voice over here, and this voice over here, and then this person was angry, and so that's kind of like getting a loop, and you got all these different things, and that's just a lot of clutter, and then we become busy trying to deal with all this information and process all this information just so that we can get a little peace and quiet in the head. And that's a tough way to go about it. That's exhausting. So we need to be able to clean that up. And getting out of the busyness and really doing what you're designed to do. And a lot of times people just feel broken or inadequate because they're trying to do it the way that everybody else said you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be able to meditate. You should be able to go in a 10-day sit and walk out and feel amazing at the other end. But you know what? A lot of people don't. A lot of people walk away from that and they feel like they've stirred up a whole bunch of stuff and they're like, it was really hard to meditate and it was really frustrating and then I must be a bad meditator. Right? No, that's not how you work. That's not how you operate. It's being true to your human and your nature so that you can really get where you're meant to go. That's a much, much, much more powerful place to be. And energy mastery is a system that reveals that to you. It unwinds all of this weird stuff that we've picked up along the way and all the things that really aren't ours and lets us truly reveal that essence, that nature, that beauty, that perfection of what a human being is. Not just any human being, you. Nobody else like you out there. You have a unique potential and a unique gift and a unique talent and a unique ability to do something that nobody else has ever done before. To be you and to share that gift with the world. And Energy Mastery reveals that in a very efficient way. It reveals it without going through all the drama and trauma. It reveals it in a way like nothing else, and it does it way more efficiently, and it lets you do what you're here to do. So you want to get out of your busyness? Remember what's most important to you. Really get out of that so that you can become much more clear and focused and actually do what you're here to do. And if this Friday finish line is about anything, it's about giving you the opportunity and the invitation is a better way to put it, giving you the invitation, extending that invitation to you to let go, take a little time out to really reassess what is most important to you and what is most important to your mission. Why the heck are you here in the first place? And if you don't know, that actually is probably one of the most important things that you could figure out right here, right now. You probably already know, but it's either too scary or it doesn't make any sense, or it's just something that you're like, oh no, it couldn't be that. That's way too obvious. You probably already know. Determine what that is and let the most important thing be the most important thing. And I guarantee that you're going to rest easy. You're going to breathe so much easier. And you're going to have the opportunity to then to take that and really run with it and to be much more focused so that you can get out of the busyness, which leads to the chaos, which leads to the fatigue, which leads to all the other things, all the illness, all the dysfunction in our lives, all the strain in our relationships. That's what lets you get out of that, is actually just deciding and following your highest path and purpose and having the proper tools along the way to really sustain you. So that it doesn't have to be this drive, I'm doing it, and then you crash. So that you actually have a sustainable model. That's what Energy Mastery gives you, is the tools to be able to do that for yourself in your own life. So that's my invitation, my humble invitation to you this weekend, is to let go of the busyness. Give yourself just a little bit goes a long ways, just a little bit of time to really consider why you're here and what the heck you're doing in the first place, and then to let that be the most important thing. Let the most important thing be the most important thing. So I hope that's helpful for you. Thanks so much for checking in on this kind of later in the evening Friday finish line, and look forward to seeing you on Monday. Everybody, comment below with your most important thing, and certainly if you want to have access to those tools and want to really understand what Energy Mastery is all about. I know it's not the easiest thing for everybody to grasp. It is a subtle art, and it is something that is really quite advanced. But it's also something that anybody can do because you have this locked inside of you. I'm going to pop a link in the comments below to the live trainings that I'm presenting right now that are really comprehensive as far as really getting a grasp on how important energy is in your life and how you can start to manage that for yourself. I'll pop a link below. You can check out one of our live trainings. I think you'll love it, especially if you love this conversation. But other than that, everybody have a really, really fantastic weekend. This is your Friday Finish Line with Energy Mastery TV. I'm Nick Hansinger. I'm the president of Energy Mastery, and I love you madly. Have a really fantastic evening. Peace.